Welcome back to Unraveled Game Thoughts, and today I have Tekhenu, Obelisk of the Sun, and we're going to try to do a solo playthrough. So this is my first solo playthrough. I did a four-handed playthrough, I think. So I probably honestly should have done another solo playthrough before I tried, but for the purposes of time, I'm gonna just go with this. So, Tekhenu is I would say it's one of the T games. I would classify it as a T game. It is by both Danielle Tascini and David Turczi. I am probably saying David's name wrong. I might even be saying Daniel's name wrong. So I did randomized setup, sort of per standard rules, and I think I have everything set up for the solo bot, which is called Botenkamand. Botenkamand. Yeah, I'm butchering that. I have no idea. So we normally set it up like for two players, doesn't use a player board. So over here I have the components for the solo. I'm just going to call it the solo bot because I can't say his name. He does not get a decree card, so I did not give him one. I selected three starting tiles and then chose two of those for myself. He doesn't use any or get any starting resources. He always starts the game first in turn order, and he is going to randomly choose either the gold or scribe destiny card. So he got the scribe destiny card. That was his destiny card. It would basically help define turn order once we get to the that part of the game. So Tekhenu is it's on the newer end. I think it came out in 2021. We were still dealing with COVID that year, and so I think Tekhenu may fall into the range of games that sort of tended to go under the radar to some degree or another. Having played the sort of a four-handed playthrough, I think this seems like a really good game. I'm looking forward to playing it with others. I've played Tawantinsuyu, I've played Tabunisi Builders of Ur, and I've played Teotihuacan. Teotihuacan's one of my favorites. I don't know that this will take the place of Teotihuacan, but right now, as of today, and having played all the others and then played the forehand of this, I think this might be my second favorite in the list of behind Teotihuacan, but ahead of Tawantinsuyu and Tabunisi Builders of Ur. Tabunisi is probably the one that would make me struggle a little bit with whether or not I like that one better than this one. I'm not sure. They're pretty close. I'm not going to go into a full detailed rules explanation. But the way the board is laid out, there is the obelisk in the middle, which probably from the top down camera, it's kind of hard to see. I might be able to, let me see if I can adjust this so you can kind of see it from the side camera a little bit. So it's a little bit of both, but you won't be able to see my board terribly much, which is right, I'm the blue. And the Autobot is I like that. The Autobot. That's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it the Autobot. I like it. All right. So the Autobot is going to be the orange here. And you can kind of see the obelisk, which is this kind of large plastic structure that goes in the center. And there is a ring around it here that has a dark side, a light side, and two shaded sides. And then it has 6 sections going around the ring. And each section corresponds to a different Egyptian god. And each of those gods there's a number of different actions that you can take in the game based on the dice that are available and and whatever that god action is. So I won't go into a detailed explanation of each god action as I'm playing the game. I'll try to describe what I'm doing, and that will probably give some feedback. Now the game I have set up here according to the Autobot rules, which means he gets to start with population and happiness that is higher than mine. I'm starting at 2 and 5 respectively. He starts at 4 and 7. I'm basing that on hoping that I didn't get this knocked around too much, or my cat didn't get up here and skew things up a little bit. But each turn, essentially, the Autobot and also myself will draft a die, and then we will do an action based on where we drafted that die for all intents and purposes. I don't believe the Autobot can take what is called an Anubis action. An Anubis action is almost like a free-for-all action because I will typically draft a die from an area associated with one of the gods. I will take that god action, and some of the stuff that I do in that action will be based on the die number, possibly the die color. The Autobot does the same thing, but there's an Anubis action where if I have 2 scribes, I can pay 2 scribes, and I can take a die from anywhere and then take any other god action, including I could take a tainted die. And so that is a significant action because that die is not a die I have to take into consideration when it comes to weighing how much tainted die did I use versus how much pure die did I use. So that's another aspect of this game is these die are all based on how they are positioned on the wheel. They are either tainted, pure, or forbidden. And actually it's pure, tainted, forbidden. So the middle is tainted, the outside is pure, and the inside is, those are forbidden die. I can't take those die unless I'm using an Anubis action. Those colors and what makes a die tainted, pure, or forbidden is based on where this inner circle coloring resides. And so they have a good, what do you call it, a player aid for the different die. And I thought that was going to be kind of complicated at first, but as I played the game, that became became more intuitive because the colors of the die are sort of associated in certain ways with the shades in a way that you eventually oh, okay, I kind of see where they went with this, and it makes more sense. So that's a lot of information, even though I haven't even gone into explaining the actions. But as I play the game, I think the different actions will sort of make some sense in what I'm doing, and I'll try to explain the why behind those actions as I take them. So for now, I'll start with the Autobot. It gets to go first, and if you're familiar with the Teotihuacan Solo has like a 6-tile system. This one has, what is it, 7, 8, it's 10 tile system. And the first action of the game is it just goes on this first tile that looks like several resources. And so in this case, the first resource shown is limestone. So the Autobot looks around the thing here for the highest value die limestone, and he takes it. It's a 5, a white 5, because white is associated with limestone. And so he takes that 5, and he is going to take this action, which is is that the Thoth? This is called the Thoth action. That's the Thoth God action. And he's going to take, it's value 5. I would have to pay 3 papyrus, but the Autobot does not pay 3 papyrus, and he's going to take 3 of these cards from the highest place that he can. Now there are 1, 2, 3, 4 sections here. In order to take from this blue section, which is furthest to the right, he would have to have his population marker up to the blue section. To take from the green, he'd have to have it to the green section, and his population marker and mine are in the red section, so that is the limit of what he can take. He likes to take decree cards first, which are endgame scoring points. If he can't take those, he will take technology cards. I'll hold this up to this camera. And they're sort of like bonuses that come in game. So when you take another action, it gives you a little bit extra for that action. I guess you could call it sort of an engine building card to one degree or another. And then lastly, he will take the blessing cards, and they are one-off actions. They tend to be fairly powerful. You could sort of call them part of your engine building, but since they're one-off, once they happen, they go away. You can gather several of them, and then when you take a certain kind of action, then they will trigger all at once, but you have to gather them in certain ways in order for that to happen. But it is possible, and it is rather fun. So he doesn't have decree cards because there are none that are in the red that he can take, but he likes technology cards best. And since he gets 3, he gets to take these 3 technology cards. He doesn't do anything with them. He just takes them. And then they are gone, and then we will draw 3 new technology cards. And then that's his turn. And then it is my turn. And I like to take this. This is the turn marker, and I'll go down. So that just indicates he took his turn. Done. That makes it a little easier for me to figure out what we're doing here. Now it's my turn, and there are essentially 16 turns in the game. At the end of 16 turns, the game is over. I won't the game phasing. There's some different phases of the game. I'll just address them as I get to them, because that will be the easiest thing to do. But let's see. So I don't think I have some cards here, and I have 2 technology cards that. Oh no, these are my end game things that I might be going for. So one is I can gain 2 victory points per pillar within the temple complex, which is up here, and 2 victory points per building around the temple complex. So that's around the edge of the complex where you can build buildings. Or I can gain 4 victory points per statue built in honor of a god. That is good. That is all good. I'm not sure which of those I would go for just yet, and I think I'm supposed to choose one at the beginning of the game, and I have not done that yet. So 2 victory points per pillar and houses. What do I have the most resources? Right now I have 1 limestone and 2 granite. I've got 2 gold. I've got a papyrus, and I've got a bean. Or potato, rather, not a bean. I like statues, and statues are pretty good. But it has to be statues built in honor of a god. Well, I'm still going to go for that one because I like the statues in the honor of the god. And one of the things with discarding cards in this game is they go underneath the pile when you discard a card. So that's kind of a I don't know. I think it's an interesting aspect. Sometimes we just do that in games to save space, but I like that this one's just got it built into the rules. So that is my turn. And that is considered, I believe, one. Oh, that's not my turn. Sorry. All I did was decide on a card. I didn't actually take a turn. So if I want to build a statue, then I have to take this god's action up here. I believe, no, this is Osiris. So that is, which god is that called? Let's see. That is Horus. Build a statue in honor of the gods or the people. There's a lot of pure dice up there. Pure dice tend to be a little harder to come by as the game goes along. And I know that he's going to either take a raw action or a Basset action, I believe. Is that right? Hathor. He's going to take a Ra or a Hathor. So he's getting a pillar or a building temple construction. So, whew, so being able to build a statue in honor of this god would be pretty handy. He's built one here, which is, I can't build one there because we're only building as if for a two-player game. So I cannot build one to Horus anymore. And it's going to take 4 granite to build a statue. So that's pretty expensive. And the value of the die, it's either a 4 or a 5. 4 would be for Thoth. 5 would be for Ra, and that would help me get my happiness up, which is pretty handy. So I think I'm going to take the 5 value die, and it is a pure die. And I'm going to, on my board, there's scales. So there's a pure scale and there's a tainted scale. If I take a pure die, it goes on the pure side. A tainted scale goes on the tainted side. Again, if I did an Anubis action with scribes, I would just put it in the center. It wouldn't even count toward either one of those. But right now I'm going to have a 5 pure die, which means I kind of want a 5, 5 value tainted die. Or at some point, I want those to balance basically when we get to the what's called the Maat phase, and we have to see, are we overweighted one direction or the other. So I took a 5 value die. I can build a statue to Ra, or I can build a statue to the people. On my player board, my first statue is going to cost me 4. I have 2 granite, but gold is used in place of any other resource. So I'm going to use 2 gold, and I am going to build a statue to Ra. Now, it's a 2-player game. I think, yeah, 2-player is when I or he take the Ra action. Sorry, I put it in the wrong place. Then then I can get I get the bonus for Ra, which is 2 happiness, not population, to happiness. So I am doing that, and then it's his turn. So that is my full turn. I don't get anything else for that, and I built my statue. At the end of the game, that will give me some points based on how many statues I built, but I'm not worried about that right now. So for his turn, we take the, I forget the name of the token, but it's this Debbie token or something. What is this thing called? Oh, a Debin token. And we flip it, and depending on what side it lines up, he goes up and he takes that action. So he's going to look at this god here, and he's going to take the highest value die he can. So he takes a 5, and I can't remember what he does for a Hathor action. So I'm going to look that up. He constructs a building around the temple complex, scoring victory points and advancing his population marker as normal. So building a building is one way to get your population up. He chooses the space where it scores the most immediate victory points from its pillars. Well, he has no pillars, so if tied, pick randomly among them. So he is going to build a building, and he does not pay resources to build a building. So the question is, where would he build a building? He also doesn't gather resources, probably because he doesn't need to spend them. But I would argue that building a building either here or here in the central area, because it tends to be the more expensive, makes the most sense for him to do, because that's the position I would not want him to take, even though he won't get any points from that building. So at this point in the game, he will later score some points based on that building being there, but for now, it won't help him a ton. He will, though, increase his population by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because the dice value was 5. So that is why it increases that much. So he's very close. He's in the green. So now he has access to these cards that he previously did not have access to, which means if he takes a Thoth action, then he will get those. But he didn't take the Raw action that I hoped, which would have given me a benefit. Alas, we'll have to wait till another turn. Okay, so it is my turn. What do I want to do? And this is going to be, this is just going to be a second round. We are, see, I feel like with 2 dice and 2 dice, I feel like there's a thing that happens. Oh, we rotate. We rotate. That's what we do. So you'll get to see a rotation of the obelisk here in a second. All right, so I've built that statue. I'd really like to build another statue. I have the capacity, my production right now for limestone and for, what do you call it? Granite is at 3 and 4. I'd like to be able to take that action if I could. There's a chance he ends up taking my die that I want next round, which would be unfortunate. I would hate for that to happen. So I could produce granite now if I did that. And then I'm going to have a hard time getting granite otherwise at this time because there's not a lot of granite producing die out there. I could also build a house over here, but there's only 1 die. There is a tainted white die, which could be beneficial to me. It would give me a gold, which is kind of nice. And it would get my, that's interesting. I could take a chance on that. I think I am going to. I'm going to take this tainted 3 die. So now I have a 5 pure and a 3 tainted. I'm going to take that and I am going to build a house here on, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those are the die numbers. So I took a 3, so I got to build here, which immediately gives me 1 limestone. And then my limestone and my granite production will go up, but the limestone will help me with building things at pillars at the temple. And then I will also get this gold, which is helpful in and of itself. And that gives me a little bit more majority in those sections. So my cost for that is my happiness is going to go down 1. I am hopeful that if he takes enough raw actions and I take raw actions, I'll get my happiness up during the game a little easier. So I'm hoping that that's not going to hurt me too much. And then that is my action. So now we are going to do a rotation of the wheel. So we rotate it, 1 section. And you know what? I took that statue action and he had a statue there and I completely forgot what happens if he has a statue there. All right, so as a normal 2-player, his statue bonus. So what did I take? I took the 5 statue. So he would have gotten a scribe and a victory point on my turn. So I need to give him that, and I need to give him scribes. He doesn't, I don't think, do anything with scribes. I think they just give him victory points at the end of the game. Okay, so we did that. We did the rotation. Now, after doing a rotation, we do, we put, I think we put die. Let me double check what we do on a rotation. I'm thinking we put die out, but I could be mistaken. Rotation. Every 2 rounds, this happens. Rotate the obelisk wheel 1 section. If the players have 4 dice on their map boards, we don't. We have 2 apiece. For each of the 2 stage sections, draw a number of dice equal to the number of players. So, okay, so for each of the shaded sections, we are going to draw a die and place them there. So we're going to roll 2. And they're 2 gray die. Gray die always are tainted. Doesn't matter what the obelisk shows. Brown die in shaded become pure. In the light, they were tainted. In the dark, they would be tainted. I'm sorry, in the light, they are forbidden. In the dark, they are tainted. And in the shade, they are pure. So the other shaded area gets 1 gray, which is going to be tainted. And it gets 1 white, which 1 yellow. And yellow in the shade is pure. So that gives me a 5 there. Yellow in the light becomes tainted. White in the light is pure. Dark in the dark becomes pure, and white becomes forbidden. This is yellow is forbidden in the dark. Black is pure. Gray is tainted. Is that right? Yeah, I think that's right. And that one's already good over there. Actually, no. Black becomes tainted in the shade. So that is that. So that's, we do the die adjustment. Our die bag is empty now. So it won't be till the next phase that we'll do a thing that will give us more die. And then we do another couple of rounds, and he is first. So we don't adjust any turn order as of yet in the game. Okay, so he is going to flip his Deben token. That is a terrible flip. I'm going to flip again. Not because I actually like that flip as a flip. So we're going to do that. I did not like that flip as much, and it's going to go there. So that is the Horus action. And he is going to take the highest value die he can. So he takes that black pure die, and he is going to take a 5 action. He wants to build a statue to Ra, but I've built one there, so I don't think he can. This is the Horus action. Build a statue in honor of a god corresponding to the value of the die is normal. If the corresponding statue space is already occupied, he builds a statue for the people, starting with the building above the workshops or quarries. Biggest impact on control of the 4 districts. So the biggest impact for him to have control of the 4 districts is going to be here. And he doesn't get resources, so he builds the statue. The gold that he would typically get, he just discards it, so I can't get it. And now he basically has 1 build. Statue counts as a building in each of these territories. So that's his turn. And now it is my turn, and I did not get that die I wanted. But you know what? I can still this granite for 4 here, because actually that's all I wanted. It's just tainted now, so it's going to go on my tainted side. And that's going to give me 4 granite. Because my production is at 4, I am able to take 4 granite. If I did not have production at 4, say my production was at 1 and I took that 4 die, well, actually 2 is the lowest it could be. Let's say it was at 2 and I took that 4 die, then 2 of the granite would go into my tainted side as greed, because I'm producing more than I can actually use. But since my production is at 4, I can use 4, so I don't lose anything. Not bad. And then it is his turn again. And so he is going to flip that token. That was a pretty stinking good flip there. And that's going to go to the left. And let's see, he wants to take the highest value brown die he can. So it's a 6 here. And he is going to take this action at 6, which he doesn't pay any papyrus. He would just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in his happiness, which is really good for him. He did well. All right, and then it's my turn. I don't think he does anything else for the Basset action. Advances happiness marker one step at a time. Advances happiness to normal, performing action, also receives scribes to normal. So yeah, he just does kind of the normal thing for that Basset action. All right. Okay, so now I have enough granite, I could build a statue. However, if I build a statue with gray dye, they are going to go on my tainted side. Well, that's not going to be good for me. I will end up having a bad. I'll be overweight on the tainted side. I'll probably end up losing victory points for that. So I don't want to do that right now. Tainted 7, 5 is the pure, and I think as long as I'm under 3 for the first round, I am good. So I'm going to say that I can probably do up to, let's see, 7, 5, 2, 3, or 4. I would say up to a 4 pure die would work. And right now, a 3 and a couple of 2s are the only pure die we have. So that is going to be a tough decision. So I could get some cards down here. I have 1 papyrus, so I could pay a papyrus. I got a gold, so I could get 2 cards. That wouldn't hurt. What do we have here? When you perform the Basset God action, I gain 2 victory point, 1 population, and 1 happiness. When you perform the Basset God action, that's this action here. I gain 2 victory points, 1 population, and 1 happiness. And it already gives me happiness. That's pretty good. I like that. My population's in the red, so I could take this. When producing resources, I can adjust the die value by up to 2 and gain additional resource. Gain 1 additional resource of the same type. I like that. When producing resources, gain 1 VP for every excess resource produced. That's not bad. I can set a die to any value. That's pretty handy. That's a blessing. When taking a die, treat it as if it were of a different color. You may adjust its value by 1. When performing a Ra or Horus bonus action, do not pay its cost. Ooh, that's good. Performing a Basset or Hathor God action, do not pay its cost. Well, I'm definitely wanting to do a Ra or a Horus action for sure in the game. So I'm going to take the 3 die, put it on my pure side. I'm going to take that, and I'm going to take this tech card. So I have 1 bonus. I'm going to put it over here by my board here. One's technology, so that's going to stick with me the whole game. And then the other one is a blessing, which will be basically a one-off. So that's not bad. And that leaves us at 4 die apiece. So this is what happens. So the way the rules are written out here, and I'll kind of walk through this because it seems confusing when you first read the rules, but as you play it, it actually gets pretty easy. So we're in a rotation phase. At the end of every 2 rounds, where each person has taken a turn, you're going to rotate once. So we rotate. And then we have 4 die on our player board. So then we jump to a Maat phase. We're going to come back to the rotation and finish out the rotation. But the first thing we do is a Maat phase. And this is going to apply because every 2 Maat phases, you are going to have a scoring round. And then you'll do the whole scoring bit. And then you'll come back, finish up the Maat phase, and then you'll finish up whatever rotation is left until it's the end of the game. There's only 2 scoring phases in the game, so you only do you're only going to do 4 Maat phases. You're only going to do 2 scorings, and then second scoring you're not going to do a complete Maat phase or a complete rotation phase because the scoring ends the game. Second scoring ends the game. All right, so Maat phase. So each player determines the balance of their scales. Everything on the left side counts positive, and everything on the right side is tainted. So I have 8 and 7. So mine is going to be a 1. Now, I believe the Autobot has an automatic bit for the Maat phase. During the Maat phase, he has a fixed value balance which you must beat in order to become the first player in turn order. So in the first Maat phase, he is +3. So he automatically goes there. So I'm going to be first player. And his Ankh value is always considered 4. So even though his says 0, he's basically taking 2 of the strongest ones, so I can't take both of them or don't have a choice between both of them. So that's his deal. All right, so it's not the fourth or final Maat phase. All right, so we've done that first part. Each die is worth positive or negative, each resource, blah, blah, blah. We've done that. We could, now I didn't explain all the resources, but there is another resource called Faith. Looks like that. And if you have Faith tokens, you could use them to help balance your scales. I didn't have one, but I didn't really need them. And so that would be a potential option if you have Faith tokens. If you don't use them during the Maat phase, you lose them. You can only gain them from one Maat phase to the next, and then you lose them. So nobody lost any points. We have no negative points. We place all our Maat markers on the turn order track because I am closest to 0. I go first and he goes second. So I will get to go first until the next Maat phase. And then if we had a tie, we would use our Ankh value 1 to 4 to determine who the tie is. But there wasn't a tie, so we didn't have to worry about it. And then we return all dice. If the arrow was pointing to this scoring marker here, then we would be doing a scoring phase, but it's not pointing to it yet, so we're not going to do that. We're going to turn all the dice to the draw bag and all excess resources and faith tokens from the scales. Go back to the what do you call it? The supply, and all destiny cards to the middle. So this is where he does the destiny card thing again. I could have sworn I left them out. I hope I did not put them in the box. Oh, I think I did. I think I put the destiny cards in the box, unfortunately. Drat. All right, let's do a little, I'm gonna have to adjust my camera here. I gotta get this out of the box. This is like not in a convenient place for me to get this. So let's see. Maybe if I'm lucky, I can just leave it off the box, and then if I have to get in here again, then I won't have to worry about it. All right, let's see. Where is my, there they are, right on top. Okay. We're gonna try to do without the box and hope that that works okay. All right, so he takes from one of these two, and we're just gonna shuffle those. Doo-da, doo-da. All right, so he's gonna take that one, and then I get to choose from these, and whichever one I choose, I actually get the reward on it. So I really don't want the faith one because I don't really need the faith. The scribe, I'm going to say the scribe is pretty good. I'm going to go with the scribe. So that's going to be my deal for this round, and I'll put that there. And that is, we'll put those up there so they're not in the way next time. And then we've rotated. So now we take all of our die and we throw them into the bag. And then we've rotated. So we're going to add 2 die to each shaded section. So this shaded section is going to get those 2. And this shaded section is going to get these 2. So that's going to be both tainted, tainted. We have a dark section here. That's going to be tainted. This one's dark, so that's going to stay pure. It's going to stay forbidden. Shaded, that becomes pure. This becomes that. Brown is going to become pure in the shade. So we got a lot of pure dye there. Stays the same. Yellow in the light it stays tainted. Tainted, tainted, tainted. And we're good. That's the end of the Maat phase. We have everything set out as we are supposed to. And now we go on to another 2 rounds to get the bonuses. So if I take from raw a 6 pure, okay, which is going to allow me to build this statue, that's going to give me 1, 2, 3 points for sure. And I can place this down somewhere and then I'll get points for based on where it's placed. So since I'm getting this action, I'm turning in my card here so that I can get it for free, and we'll just put it in, I don't know, we'll call this the discard. Oh, actually, discard, it just goes underneath the stack. We don't really have discards for Tekhenu. Okay, so now I'm going to put it in this section, and every side that touches another side that matches will get me a point. So if I put the green touching a green, that'll get me 1 point, or the yellow touching the yellow a point, and in this case I'd get 4 points if I stuck it there. The problem is I really want to get more out of it, and I'm probably going to take another action over here next time if I am able to. So plus I get the bonus on here, whatever that bonus is. I'm gonna have to look that bonus up, P12, because it's the obelisk is shady when I'm taking there, and I'm taking a tile that has a shady coloring to it. I get the bonus on the tile as well. That's how you can kind of stack those bonuses up. But I don't know what this bonus is. 12. Perform a Horus god action to build 1 statue as if you had taken a die with value 1, 2, or 3. You still pay the cost of the action as normal. Oh, okay. As if I had taken a die value 1, 2, or 3. Well, that's pretty cool. So I'm going to get 2 for 1 action here, basically, is what I'm going to get. But I am going to have to pay for that action. And I want... What do I want? I definitely want to take this action down here at some point. So I could get supplies for that. I could get more of what I have up there. I could just get a gold and put this in the center, which would be kind of nice. I think that might end up giving me a point anyway. Yeah, I think I'm going to put it in the center, and that's going to give me a gold. And I forget, now I'm going to place one of my pillars on that statue, and I forget if I get the a point for doing that. Raw, a pillar, score 1 point per building, regardless of ownership, in the same row and column. So there is 1 building there, and so I get 1 point for placing that statue there. So that's pretty good. And then I will get to take a, I think a Horus action up here. And my next statue is going to cost me 3 granite. So I'm going to go ahead. It's going to be a 1, 2, or 3 value die. And I can perform the action as if I'm taking a die without taking a die. So the question is, do I want to do a 1, a 2, or a 3? And since I just performed this action and I got the, I have a statue there and it's a 2-player game, I get the bonus for having a statue there, which is 2 happiness. So my happiness is going to go up 2. Almost forgot that bonus. So the question is, do I want to build a statue for the people, or do I want to build a statue to one of the gods? And if I put it here, I kind of, in some ways, I kind of like that because that's going to give me a limestone or a granite every time I take that action. The other actions would be to build one to Hathor up here, which is helpful when building a house, but I'm not going to build a house soon. He might, but I'm not. Or I could build it in the one action, which is up here, which I am planning to hopefully take next. So that is a tough choice, but that gives me population, but I am planning to take this one anyway. Oh, that gives me happiness. Building a house gives me population. And I only have so much happiness that I can do. Oh, he's built a statue here. So I can't even build a statue there. It would be there or to the people. I could get a gold if I build it to the people there, or I could build it over here and get a gold there as well. Whew. A lot of tough choices here. I think I'm going to try to keep the majority there. It gives me 2 per. It gives me a gold, which is a nice resource to have. I really like the idea of putting it here as well. Oh, shoot. I am debating. I already have majority here. So maybe, oh, I can't put it there. That's right. I was going to put it there. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to go there. I'm going to go that route. And then he's going to go. So he's going to flip, and he wants to go up. So he's going to take the highest value die from this action, which is 1. He's going to grab it, and for a 1 die, he doesn't pay any resources. He's just going to build a house in a place where he can. So the question is, where does he build that house? How does he decide? Constructs 1 building, but does not suffer any decrease in happiness for doing so. The value of the die determines the row as normal, while the color of the die determines the role of the building. It was yellow, so it would be a papyrus workshop, and it would be in this row. So he's going to go there with his house. Okay. Yeah, that's it. That's not that hard. So it's great that the decisions for this particular Bakutama or Autobot are not that hard to do. I like that. All right, so it is my turn, and I believe. But I have enough to pull it off. I have enough to pull that off. I could build another statue. Why did I want to build another statue? Maybe just because statues are good to build. I don't know. I do need some potatoes or papyrus at some point. And the statues will give me in-game victory points as well. So the thing is, I don't have a card particularly going to help me. And that's going to be a tainted die. There's only 1 pure die there, and I have a lot of limestone. And also taking that action will give me 2 more happiness, which is not a bad deal. Tough choices. Tough choices. So I could build a statue there, or I could build a statue to Thoth, which will give me a gold whenever I take that action. I think I am going to take the 4 die, the 4 gray tainted die from there, and I'm going to have to pay 2 granite, so I only have, it's going to be a gold and a granite to take a statue, and since it's a 4 die, it's going to be Thoth down there that I build to, And that's not going to give me anything right away. It's just going to mean I have a statue for that god. So whenever that action is taken, I will get a gold, which is a very valuable resource. I will take it. All right, so it is going to be his. You know what I think I was supposed to do during the Maat phase is reshuffle all his tiles. I am pretty sure I was supposed to. Let me see. Let's double check. Fixed value balance comes the first. Okay. If this, unless this was the fourth and final Maat phase, shuffle all 10 tiles, create a new pyramid, and reset the position of the progress marker left of the base of the pyramid. So we'll just, I mean, his action last time will just be his action last time, but we're going to go ahead and shuffle these. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Okay. And then we'll lay these out. And that, we'll get that. And then he's going to go here and take that action. Because it's he starts down there on the first turn of after these are shuffled. So he kind of got one turn that was a little off, but that's not too bad. All right, so that's going to be the Horus action. And he is going to take the 2 value die. That's the highest one he can take. And he will build a statue to Hathor. So he's going to take that spot because it was a 2 value die from me. All right. Fantastic. That is done. So now we have 2 dies. So we are going to do a rotation. Do, 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 do. All right. So we rotate. And then some things are going to happen. So I believe the brown are now going to be forbidden. That's going to be forbidden. Shady, those will both be tainted. That's always tainted. That's dark, so I think it's just in the tainted area. Shady, that's going to be forbidden. This one is going to be pure. That's going to stay there, and then we have to roll 2 dice and place them in the 2 shady areas. So let's see. We have shady area 1, a couple of tainted dice, and shady area 2, we've got a pure and a, actually yellow in the shade is going to be pure. The black in the shade will actually be tainted, so I had that one backwards. Okay, so we're getting close to a scoring phase here. It is my turn, and what do I want to do? So, do I want to go after a pure die or not? I could take that pure Thoth die. This and this are the only pure die out there. And there's plenty of happiness to go around. And lots of tainted die to work with. So, if I took a yellow die, I'd have to go in here, but I need some potato to take that action up there anyway, so I think I will take the pure 3, and that gives me a total of 9 pure. So I'm going to build a house in this column. I have to lose a happiness to build my house, and I am going to build it here, which is going to give me 1 potato, and then my potato and papyrus will increase. My production for those 2 things will increase. All right, so he is going to flip the Devon token, and that's going to go up here, and he's going to take a Thoth action. I have a statue at Thoth, which gives me a gold. And then he is going to take the highest value die that he can, and he is going to take that action. So he took a 6 die. He doesn't play papyrus. He's going to take 3, and he's going to take the best 3. So he always takes the decree cards if he can. And then he's going to take technology cards. And he's going to take from the highest value place he can. So he'll take those. And then we'll get some new tech cards out here. Like so. And that's his turn. It's my turn. All right. So if I really want to balance for that next Maat phase, then I really want to get a 5 tainted or close. I could get a 5 tainted there. That's not a bad deal. And that would get my potatoes up twice. That is not a bad deal. Oh, I like it. Means my happiness would go down 1. But if I take this 5 tainted from there, and then I can put my house here, because it's a 5, drives my potatoes up 2, and gives me 2 potatoes, which I'm going to need in a bit here. And that's going to balance out my scales pretty well, which is fantastic. I like it. All right, so he's going to go. So we're going to do, whoops, that was a terrible flip. Devon token. So he landed where this slides over, and he's going to take this action. No statues, so no bonus. He does not have to change anything. He's going to take the highest value die, which is a 1, and then he will take the next over in that row. For him, that will be potatoes. So he'll grab that. So now he has essentially 2 here, 2 here, and he's higher up on here, so he's going to win that against me when we get to scoring here in a minute. Now, this is the deal. We're about to do a scoring phase. And so one of the things I love about this game, it works really well. So first we do the rotation. It's always performed every 2 rounds. So we're going to rotate this, and it got to this marker, which means that just indicates we're about to do our first scoring phase. So we'll take that off the board, and we have 4 die, and so there's the yellow spot here on the instructions that indicate, okay, now we do a Maat phase. So we do this every 2 rotations, and I've already walked through one of these. So we have to determine the balance of our scales, and I am fully balanced, so I'm going to be at 0. And then I believe he's at +2, second Maat phase. He doesn't do anything else. There's no other balancing to be done. So these die are just going to come off there. There's no resources that were gained as extra. We move it to the turn order track. There's no negative points. Ascending order, perfect balance, a value of 0 will be first. Here's the tie, has the highest ank value. Okay. Nobody has any faith to get rid of. I don't think. So now we do scoring. It was on a scoring. So we're going to do a scoring phase. We're going to turn all die from player boards to the draw bag. That is number 1. I'm going to use my chair over here. All right, so die, go to the draw bag, done. And let's just walk through these. Return all excess resources and faith tokens from the scales. There aren't any. Return all destiny cards to the middle of the table. In the newly established turn order, each player takes 1 of the available destiny cards, receiving the reward shown. Okay, so that's these Ankh cards. And in turn order, I get to decide which one I would like. So I think in this case, I'm actually going to gain, I think I'm going to be able to get my happiness up through other means because of my deal there. So I'm going to take the 2, and he always takes a combination of 1 or 0. This is like, it's hard to shuffle a 2-card deal, but I don't know what he's getting, so he gets the 1. All right. So these other 2 will go up there. Ankhs are decided. He does get a scribe. That's the only time he gets anything, is if he would get a scribe. All right, so that is that. You know, I think I skipped the... I wasn't supposed to return the dice yet, or the destiny cards. So, I actually didn't start the scoring phase correctly. So let's go to scoring. Scoring is performed during every second Maat phase, which is where we are now. Scoring markers are conveniently placed around the obelisk wheel to remind blah, blah, blah. For each of the 4 resource districts in the Osiris era, uh, area, papyrus, bread, limestone, and granite. How many game pieces each player has. The player with the most in that district scores 3 victory points. So he's going to score 3. He's going to score 6. I'm going to score 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's going to work out like that. Score the temple complex. Each building and statue around the temple scores 1 victory point. So he scores 1 there. He's on 18. All right. Each pillar scores 1 victory point per building and statue belonging to the player in the same row and column. I don't have any buildings, so I don't score anything for that. Each player scores a number of victory points for having built 1, 2, or 3 statues. So I've built 3 statues, which means I score 6 victory points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He has built 3 statues as well. 1, 2, I believe 3. It's hiding behind the obelisk, so it's hard to see. So he is also going to score 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So keeping pace with me pretty well here. Each player scores 2 victory points per production marker on the topmost 6. I have none. And each player scores the sum of any victory points visible on the building row of their player board. The building row. Oh, you'd have to have a lot more buildings built, so I don't have any. Okay. Finally, each player must pay the sum of all bread amounts visible on the building row of their player board. For each bread they're unable or unwilling to play, I lose 3 victory points. I have enough bread that I can pay 2 bread. So I'm going to pay 2 bread. All right, done. And then it wasn't the second, so we go back to complete the Maat phase. We do the dice, the destiny cards. We've done that, and so then we finish the rotation, and we draw dice for the shaded areas. Sure they're in the right place and begin a new round. So that's not too bad. I think after I did that, I know when I played my 4-handed play, it didn't take me long to get used to doing it. So we have changed the wheel. That's going to be pure. That's going to be pure. That's going to be tainted. Lots of gray dice there. And whoops, that's a 5. And so that's going to be pure yellow, tainted black in the shaded area. And then we have 4 dice in here, I believe. Yeah, there's 4 dice in there. So we're good. I am still first player because I believe he has a set value. Let me make sure he doesn't supposed to get any more points during a scoring phase. I think he scores essentially the same way I do, but I got to check on the Autobot here. Scores the following. The 4 resource districts score the same. Building, statues, and pillars associated. Number of statues built. Position on the happiness marker. Oh, position of the happiness marker. Oh, that's just for end game scoring. I don't think the happiness marker scores. Oh, maybe it does. Maybe the happiness marker does score during oh, yep, 3 victory points per triangle their happiness marker has reached. Okay, all right. Or a number of victory points. So he has reached 1. So he scores 3 victory points. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. That puts him ahead. Okay, so we did forget to score the happiness marker. All right, done. All right. It scores as follows. Each blessing counts as 2 victory points and then is discarded. Oh, he's got no blessings. Each technology counts as 2 victory and then is kept. Oh, so he gets to score these, which is, this is going to give him a lot more 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So he's going to score those twice. All right. So he's on 27. He's going to go to 37. Boom. All right. It wasn't the second scoring, so there we go. We got it. All right. All right. So I'm still first player, and I forgot if I'm first, I get 3 victory points for that. 1, 2, 3. Second player gets victory points, but only in a 3 or 4 player game. All right. So we have only 3 pure die at all this round, which means we probably, I think I'm going to take this action, and I'm going to take this 3 here, because I'm going to take what pure die I can while I can. No statue there, so not much I can do with that. But a 3 die will give me 1 scribe, so I will take a scribe. And I get to go up happiness equal to the die. So 1, 2, 3. I do have to pay papyrus. I almost forgot about that. So I'll pay a papyrus and a gold, because that's what I got. And whenever I take that action, the Bassett action, I gain 2 victory points. Boom. I gain 1 population, and I gain 1 happiness. So that pushes me up just a little bit further. I will take it. I can use it. All right, so he is going to go. And that would have been another Maat phase. So we're going to go ahead and... He is supposed to reset every Maat phase, so we're going to go ahead and get right back on track, resetting this correctly. And shuffle those. All right. So this is over. We are now past halfway. A little over, since I took 1 action and have a die. So that's it. All right. So he is going to take this action first. He's going here. And he's going to take the highest value. Actually, he takes the highest value die. All right, for the action. And that's a 5. So he wants to build a statue to Ra. Well, it's already built there. It's already built there. So I think he goes... Does he build to the people after that, or does he go around looking for the god to build to? Okay. Horus. If the corresponding statue space is already occupied, he instead builds a statue for the people. Okay. Starting with the building above the workshops or quarries. Well, there is none there. Okay. Chooses whichever space has the biggest impact on the control of the 4 districts. If tied, then randomly pick. If both of them are already occupied, he instead builds a statue at the temple complex. Which space lines up with more of its pillars? If tied, pick randomly among them. So he's going to build that statue. Oh. Nothing lines up with his pillars, but I think that's going to make the most sense for him to take that. He doesn't get the gold. He just discards it, but that's going to do that. Okay. All right. He would gain points if both temple complex statues were taken. Okay, so there we go. He's got another statue. Fantastic. All right, my turn. What do I want to do? Now I am semi-debating the idea of just taking an Anubis action. The problem is I don't know if I want to. It won't count against me, but I don't know that I want to yet. I might. Oh man, I don't have enough resources to do that. I could. Oh, I don't have a die there to take. Well, that would be interesting, but it'd be better doing that. I could build a house here, or here rather. I'd rather have a 6 though, and I can't get, there is no 6, so that's not even an option. I don't have enough granite to build anything, to build a statue. I'd need at least 2. I do have 2 gold though. So it is not impossible for me to build a statue, actually. It's a 4 die, so I'd have to build a statue here. I could not build a statue to the 4 to Thoth because I've already got one there. I could take a 3 die as an Anubis action and build one in the Basset area. That's not a bad idea. You know, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to pay 2 scribes. I'm going to take this Forbidden 3 die because as an Anubis action I can take it from anywhere. It's going to go to the bottom of my board. It is a 3 die. I have to pay 2 gold because I don't have any other bits, but it is 2 on my statue, so I'm going to put it there. And then whenever I take that action, it gives me a little bit more. So I think that's a pretty good. I feel good about that. And then he's going to go. So he is going to take the Thoth action. I do have a statue there. That gives me 1 of my gold back that I just spent, which is also fantastic. He doesn't pay anything. He takes the highest value die that he can, which is a 3, which he's going to take 2 cards up to as high as he can. So he's taking a decree card and he's taking a technology card. And then we will replace those here. Done. All right. And now it is a rotation. So we're going to rotate. And then we're going to go ahead and draw from the dice bag. And we're going to roll 2 and put them in the shady areas. Actually, yellow gets to be pure. And, whoops, mark those up. And then shady, that's going to be there. That's going to be pure. That's going to be pure. All these are going to go up here and be pure because they're brown. That's going to be forbidden. Those become pure. This is going to become forbidden. Correct. And this is going to become tainted. Actually, it's going to be forbidden. Yeah. Okay. Nice. About to go to another Maat phase here. All right. My turn. What do I want to do? Let's see. Now I got a lot more die to choose from in the pure sections, which is fantastic. But I'm also gonna need a pretty high tainted die to really make it work. I got nothing here. It's all pure in this area. But I could do a house. I don't have enough beans to do a house. I only have 2. I really want more. I need 4. What makes beans? I can get it to 5. That would be pure. I'm going to be really imbalanced if I do that, though. Although I would have a lot of beans to work with. Just no tainted die. Man. Gray doesn't build you any resources, and I don't have any papyrus down here to do anything with. So this is not really an action I can do much with, but I might be in a boat where I'm going to have to get resources. I could get some papyrus here. That will also give me a gold, which is helpful. Do I want to build anything up there? That's in the tainted section. It looks like there's maybe 1 tainted, which I could build a pillar. That would get me some resources. It's not going to give me anything else. But I'd have to get a pure. If I take that one, I'm not going to get the resources on the tile. which is what I'd like. But I need to not be imbalanced. This is a tough decision because there are not a lot of good decisions. And actually, surprisingly, the tainted die are the ones that there's just not enough of. Usually, there's more tainted die to choose from. But now I am in a weird position. Papyrus, I could get up to 4. And 1 would be tainted, but I kind of need tainted on the imbalance side. So, yeah, I'm gonna take a wild stab at doing this. I'm gonna get this pure die for 5 papyrus, but I only have enough production for 3, so 2 of them will be tainted, and then I will get the other 3, which will go to my supply, and that'll prep me a little bit for the next action. Okay, we'll see if we can get kind of in a good place here. So we flip that. He is going to take the highest value thing that produces beans, which means he is taking this Ra's action. Ra gives me 2 happiness. 1, 2. I will take it. And he is going to then take that action. Oh man, I forget what he does for Ra. He raises 1 pillar within the temple, choosing the pillar tile that corresponds to its die value. He took a 5. So he's going to take this one. All right, that's definitely going to give him 1, 2, 3 victory points. So we got that much down. And without changing the tile's orientation, he places the tile in an empty space within the temple complex where it scores the most points. 1 victory point per building, regardless of ownership, in the same row or column. Okay. None of those sides are going to score points. I think he scores points on the side regardless, so I'm pretty sure that's where he's going to go per building. So that would score him 1 point, 2 points. He already got those. Okay, ignores covered rewards. So he's going to get 2 more points for that tile placement, and then he'll put a pillar there, and that's good. Okay, all right, done. That wasn't too bad to figure out. Now I got to figure out what I'm doing. I need a value 6 tainted die. I'm not going to get that, but that's what I want. But I could take a value 5. I could pay a scribe and change it to a 6. The problem is I can't get any more happiness if I take that die. I think I'd be better off maybe taking some of these. Because I could take this tainted die and pay my scribe to change its value to 6. That gives me perfect balance for Maat phase. And then I'm getting a 6. So now I can pay 3 of my papyrus down here for that 6. And I can get 3 cards. And I'm up to the red. So when producing resources, I can get a victory point for every excess resource produced. Not bad, but my resource production is pretty good. And when producing resources, I can adjust the die value by up to 2 and gain 1 additional resource of the same type. Ooh, I kind of like that. I might need some more resources soon. So being able to adjust the value will help with not only the balancing, but also getting my resources. So that's 1 card. I get 3 here. All right, when taking a die, treat it as if it were of a different color, and you may adjust the value by 1. When taking a die, set it to any value. That's awfully handy blessing. So I'm going to take that blessing. Stick it down there for now. Perform an Anubis action. I like that. It's just get to perform an Anubis action, or when performing the Hathor action, don't pay its cost. Perform a raw god action, take 2 victory points. I like the Hathor action without cost because I need to take a Hathor action anyway. So that's my 3 cards, 2 blessings and 1 technology. I like it. All right, so then he is going to flip his deal, which is going to go over here, and he is going to take a raw action. Raw gives me 2 happiness, but my population is already, it can't go any higher, so I don't get anything. Drat. All right, so he is going to take the highest tile. He takes the pure before the tainted, so he's going to take that. It's a 2, which is going to take this. He's going to put it here, which is going to score 1, 2, 3, 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then he'll put his temple tile there. And then these slide over. Done. Okay. My turn. I need to eat something soon. Okay. Let's see. We are in... We have to do a Maat phase. And we'll probably pause after that because I think my phone is almost out of charge for recording here. All right, so we're going to do a Maat phase. First, we do a rotation. So we're going to do the rotation. Boo-doo-doo, that goes there. And then we are going to get all the die that we've collected. And his thing is at 1 here. Mine is equal. I have 8 on the pure side and 6, 7, 8 on the tainted side because the Anubis action didn't count. So those go into there, and I'm still going to be first player. I'm going to get 3 to... No, it's not a scoring phase, so I don't think I get points for that. I just stay in first player. And that's our balance. I think that's all we do for the Maat phase. Let me double check my Maat phase, make sure I'm not missing something here. We do our balance. We take care of imbalances. Turn all dice from the player board, all destiny cards to the middle. We got to do the destiny cards again. And since I'm first player, I get to pick. I'm going to pick the 2 again because I need the population, which I'm going to take. And then he's going to choose one of these guys. And it's gold, so nothing. All right, and then that goes up there. All right, and then we're going to roll. And we have, let's see, shady areas. I'm going to go with this shady area first. That's going to be pure. That's going to be tainted. That's going to be tainted. So those are going to be there. This is in the sun, so that's staying there, or the light rather. We got 2 brown die. They're going to stay in the shady area. This is in the light, so it goes to tainted. This is in the dark. It is forbidden. This is dark, so that's going to be tainted, and those are going to be pure. Okay, so I think we are golden there, and we are ready for the next round. So we'll have 1 more rotation and then final scoring. And that'll be the game. So for the next deal. Oh, excuse me. This is tough. I want to get that up for sure. So I think I am going to take this 4 die for my first turn. And I'm gonna have to pay some manner of potatoes here. I believe, much as I'd love to pay 4, I think I'm gonna go ahead and pay
my gold for 3 because I want to place a house over here, and I want to place it in one of these areas where I can get a good amount of stuff. The question is, what do I want? Because I get one of each of these things. So I could get a faith, a limestone, a granite, and a potato. But I like the idea of getting a papyrus with that. Can I get a papyrus and that? I think I'm going to go do that. It's not going to score me any points there because I don't have any pillars. But it will give me some stuff. So I'm going to get 1 limestone, 1 papyrus, 1 granite. Probably need the limestone the least. And I do get 1 faith and a potato. Yeah. So I get a good amount of things there. All right, now let's see. We just had that Maat phase, so he is going to shuffle these and create a new pyramid. And if my fan or the video just comes off as choppy, I've had to do this, and this might be my 4th sit down to do this, so just having to divide it up a lot and not be able to sit down at one time and do all this. You get some clothing changes and whatnot, and so it doesn't make it as easy to get all the things in one video, so it might look a little choppy. I apologize for that. Such is life, as life is. All right, so he is going to take the granite is the first thing showing, so he's looking for the highest die that gives granite, and he's going to take from light if he can, which means he will do a raw action. So for the raw action, it's a 2 die. So he's going to grab this, and then he wants to go where he has the most houses that are going to give him points of anybody. So that's going to be, he doesn't change orientation, that's going to be 1 point, 2 points, 3 points. Plus he took it from there, it's 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then these are going to slide over. And that is his raw action. Now, I have a statue on raw, so when he takes that, I get 2 happiness, but I only have room for one. Oh, I would have gotten 2 because I forgot when I built this house, I used a 4 die. My population was supposed to go up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm right up there with him. So I would have gotten my 2 happiness on that. Fantastic. Okay. That is fascinating. Fascinating. I could do that. I could do that. I was thinking about doing that earlier. Ooh, that's good. That is good. It's pure. It's going to leave me really heavy on the pure. And then I'll be looking for tainted only after that. But I think it is so good, I have to consider it. All right, I am going to grab a 6 pure. It gives me 10 in the pure, which is a lot. I'm going to go down 1 happiness, and it puts me out of the point range, unfortunately. But this is going to give me a house over here, which I'm in 6, so I can go down here. I only needed my potato to go up 1. I could have the papyrus go up 2. Do I even want my granite and limestone to go up any? But I could get them. Man, I could get one of these to the top. I only have 2 statues left to build. Ooh, that is pretty exciting. Okay, I think I'm gonna go I'm going to go with granite. So that's going to give me 2 granite. My granite goes up twice, my granite production, and I can go any other one up once. So that's going to give me some points during scoring because I have my production, 2 of those production markers all the way to the top. So that is a good deal. Nice, I will take it. All right, so then he's going to go over and take the Horus action, which doesn't do anything for me. It just means he takes a statue, and he is going to take, oh, there's no die there. There's no die there. He cannot take the Horus action. So he's going to go to the next god over and take that action. And he's just going to take this number 1, which means he'll take one of these pillars. Forgot to put his pillar on there last time. And he's going to go where he can get the most points here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It really doesn't matter, I don't think. Prioritizes the middle, I believe. So he'll get 4 points for that. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then these will slide over, and that will come down, and then it's my turn. All right. All right, this is tough. What do we want to do? Oh, we both have 2 die, so we get a rotation. We're going to do that first. So we're going to maybe have some more die options here. Rotate, and we're going to get 2, so we'll put them in the shady area here. It's going to be lots of tainted die on that section. And we've got 2 for the shade here. That goes there, that goes there. That's going to go up there, which might end up helping me. I'll take it. This is in the light, so it's going to be forbidden. Forbidden. Oh, no, that's dark, so it'll just be tainted. This dark goes up here. These are all going to become forbidden. This is shady, so that's going to go up there. And I believe that's it. Yellow in the light is tainted. Brown in the light is forbidden. Okay. I think we're good. All right, so do I want to get resources or something else? Thing is, I am gonna need tainted dye. So do I get limestone? You can't get resources with that. I kind of need papyrus, but I don't want to throw my balance so far off. This is a tough choice. Very tough choice. I mean, that's going to throw my balance off. Now, I do have I could get papyrus there, which would only be 2 papyrus though, so it's not getting much for it if I did that. I might be better off trying to take an action here. I'm not going to get that bonus, but I could get another pillar out there, and I could get papyrus that way as well. That might be a better option. It's 2 limestone and a granite, or I could build a statue. Statue would score me some points for sure. I, 'cause, 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 ' Statue would get me a gold, score me some points. Man, that might be the way to go. But it doesn't help me get my balance going. That's what is a kicker. I'm not going to have anything going for that. I don't have that. I really want something that's going to help me with my balance. And that is not proving to be fruitful here because I don't have the potatoes to take that action. That's pure die. Tons of tainted here, but I don't have the papyrus really to take that action. Whew. I don't like it, but I'm going to take this for a couple of papyrus. And it's not going to give me any tainted, but there you go. That's going to do that. And then his go. All right. So he is going to move up and take this guy's action. He wants the highest value available die, so he's going to take a 5, not pay squat for it, and then he's going to go build a house. So the house that gives him the most, I believe, is going to be right in there, because that's going to give him 1, 2, right? Builds the house, yeah, 1, 2. Does he automatically get 3 times pillar for any player? Huh. Let me double check my scoring for the building of a house over there. Hathor action. So after playing this game a bit, now I've kind of got the gods down. I felt like it was going to be too much to remember at first, but now I kind of remember each god's name for the most part. The Hathor action, construct one building. After paying the bread cost, blah, blah, blah. He doesn't pay the cost. For each space within the temple complex in the same building or row. One of your pillars scores 3 victory points. Okay. So does he score? The question is, does he score 3 victory points per pillar? That is pretty valuable for him. If he does. Yeah, he totally does. So he's going to score 6 victory points that way. That is stinking good. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it has a little player aid on the board, 3 times the number of pillars that you have on the board. I wasn't 100% sure that was accurate. I don't know why I thought that. That was weird. All right, so he took a 5. So his population is also going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yay for him. All right. I really want to get my balance as close as possible. So we're going to take this 5 white die there. And oh, it's going to be the scoring phase. Okay. I have these blessings and I totally forgot about that. But you know what I could have done the last time? Is I could have, when taking a die, I could have adjusted it. I forgot about that. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to kind of roll it back a turn because I would have done this. And I would have set that to a 4, which would have put 1 over here on the tainted side. And then I would have gotten 1 more. And then when performing a Basset or Hathor god action, do not pay its cost. Well, that would have been fantastic. the Bassett action is what I'm doing now. So I just would do it now and not pay any cost now that as I do it. So that I think that ends up evening out pretty well. When I perform a Bassett action, I'm going to gain 2 victory points and a population and one of those. And I have a statue on Bassett, which also gives me a limestone or a granite. I will take a granite, I suppose. And I don't have to pay the cost for my 5 die that I took off, so I'm not going to get a scribe. But I am going to get my happiness 1, 2, 3, 4. Unfortunately, only 4. Because... Oh, and when I produced resources last time, I could have adjusted the die value. And I would have gotten 1 additional resource of the same type. Which means I just have a lot of extra resources. Unfortunately, that's going to be not... I don't know if that's going to help me at the end of the game. All right. And then he's going to go. And so he is taking the Bassett action, which does give me another limestone or granite. I'll take limestone this time. And he is going to... He doesn't pay anything. He's going to take highest value he can, which is a 5, which is going to put his happiness 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And he's going to go there. Okay. Well, I don't think I puzzled this out very well, but that should, in theory, be the last one, because when we rotate, we get to our final scoring marker here. And so I believe we are only going to do the things that are required. So we rotate the obelisk 1 wheel clockwise. All 4 players have 4 dice on their boards, so we perform the Maat phase. So the first thing we do is balance the scales. I have 10, and then 9 plus 1 is 10. So I'm going to be on 0, and then I forget on his Maat phase, because he has set Maat phases for how he does those. 3rd and 4th Maat phase, he is at +1. So I did beat him there. And then let's see where we go. Offset the imbalance. All Maat markers to turn order. Any player with a negative balance loses a number of victory points as follows. We don't have to worry about that. And I don't believe... Well, we can select... we don't do the destiny cards yet. So, lowest numbered still in play scoring marker. Numbers are expressed by our list immediately for our scoring. So now we're doing scoring. Okay. All right. After the second scoring, the game is over. Individual decrees are scored. So we're just going to do this thing. A scoring, blah, blah, each of the 4 resource districts. So he's going to score 6, and I'm going to score 6. So that's not going to help me a ton. I'm at 39, and he's at 66. All right. Let's see. And then we score the temple complex. Each building and statue around the temple scores 1 victory point. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. And then I have 1. Did not build enough there. Each pillar within the temple scores 1 victory point per building and statue belonging to the same player in the same row and column. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He scores 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I don't score any because I have none there. All right. And then, let's see, that's the buildings and the statues. So for building statues, I get 10 points. So I'll go to 50, but he also gets 10 points. So 74, 84, that didn't help me a ton because he had built as much as I had. Ooh, that's gonna hurt me. Just realized that. Bummer. Each player scores 3 victory points per triangle. Their happiness marker has reached, his has reached 2. So he's going to score, he's going to score 6 points, and I'm going to score 6 points, actually. Huh. I actually stayed in line with that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And let's see. 2 victory points per production marker on the topmost 6. So I am going to get 4 victory points for that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, something I actually got a few extra points for. Nice. Scores the sum of any victory points on the building row of their player board. I've got none, and he would have none. Each player must pay the sum of all bread amounts visible in the building row. So I'd have to pay 4 bread, of which I can pay 1. So I'm going to lose 9 points for that, unfortunately. He doesn't have to pay bread. All right. That stinks. It was a second and final scoring, so each player now reveals any decrees they have. Includes decree chosen at the start of the game. Can score up to 3 degrees total, but no more than 1 degree per type. Okay, so I think he is just going to score his top decrees, if I'm not mistaken. Scoring. Okay. Each blessing will give him 2 and the discarded, and each technology will be 2 kept. Oh, decrees are just 4 victory points for him. And every 2 scribes are 1 victory point. Okay. So his decrees are pretty easy to score. He gets 4 points per. So that would be a total of, if I could pick it up, sheesh. I have no nails. You're kidding me. So he got 8 points. I thought he had another degree, but that's 8 points for him. So he's at 98. And then he gets 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So another 10 puts him at 108. Okay. It's going to start giving me an idea of what he is after. He had no blessings to score, so don't have to worry about that. All right. So now I can score my 1 decree, my single decree. So I didn't get high enough to get another decree. 4 victory points per statue built in honor of a god. Ooh, that's actually not going to be a bad one for me. I've got 1, 2, 3 built in honor of gods. So probably could have gone after more. So that gives me a total of 12, 61, 63. Okay. I think that's it for me. Oh, my map marker is first in turn order, so that gives me 3. Whoop-de-doo. Game's over. So having extra resources, I thought I scored something for extra resources, but I don't. So really that was just inefficient. I had too many extra resources. Whole bunch of limestone, whole bunch of granite, little faith, which would have disappeared anyway. Yeah, wow. Okay, so that is Tekhenu, Obelisk of the Sun. This, I love how tight the game is as far as being constricted to the basically your 16 turns. That's what you get in order to play, to score all the points you're going to score. It almost feels like you really want to have more. But what it does is force you to figure out what do you want to do and to really pursue that. I probably would have benefited more had I built more statues. I could have gotten up to 21 points if I had really focused more heavily in statues. And I think diversifying my points, because my houses, I built a lot of houses and that was helpful here, but I didn't need all those houses. It was only a couple more points to get my production markers up. I could have focused on that and then I would have gotten 8 points if I got them all at the top. But the temple complex is potentially a lot of points if you get the pillars built, but you really have to focus on pillars to do that. The forehand that I played, I had a harder time building stuff up here. And I think it was because I was trying to do a little bit of everything. And, I'm trying to get my population up and my happiness. I'm trying to build buildings. I'm trying to do all the things in the game. And I think what this game really wants you to do is try to focus in an area. Do I want to build statues to the gods or on the board and get my statues out there? Do I want to build pillars in the temple? And maybe not just one thing, but like do two things that work well together, something like that. Because it seems like there are several, there are different god actions that actually do work well together, with some that can work well with a lot of things. So, your blessings and technologies, excuse me, are going to do a lot of different stuff in a game. So you're definitely going to want papyrus. If you don't build buildings, you don't really need potatoes that much. So the buildings can give you a lot of points if you build enough of them. But I built over here in production, but then still didn't have enough potatoes, and that cost me quite a few points. If I'd had the potatoes, I could have at least been here, but I was way behind his score. And that's why I think you really have to focus in this game to get more out of the cards you have. So it was fun though. I did enjoy it as a solo experience. I didn't feel like it was terribly challenging to run the Autobot. There's a learning curve, but having played Twant and Suyu, that one I feel like was way harder to run, a lot more complex, a lot more reading, having to go back to the rule book than this one. I still had to reference the rule book, but it didn't feel as painful. It felt easier to walk through the rules. I really want to get this one to the table as a multiplayer. It really, I think it's going to have a little bit heavy. It's going to have a heavy teach because there's lots of pieces and things to understand with this game. I probably read the rules about 3 times before I played the first time, but it makes sense. A lot of the interconnectedness of it just makes sense, and it's fiddly. It's got some fiddliness to it. I can't deny that, but it's not. It's a fiddly in a way that ends up working well together once you kind of understand how the fiddliness works together. So there are some games I've played where it's fiddly, and the fiddly, it just feels very chromy. Doesn't necessarily work together very well or thematically, whereas this one kind of does. So I don't have as much of a problem with the fiddliness when I can sort of see where it fits in overall. Definitely still really an abstract game. This one has that, sort of pasted on Egyptian gods theme. It's in to some degree do I think it's woven better in this one than Teotihuacan or Tekhenu or the others? I probably would argue it's on par with maybe Teotihuacan. It's still an abstract game. Teotihuacan's an abstract game. But this one, it might even be a tad better than Teotihuacan, but not by much, and not enough that I would really give it too much more of an edge that way. I still like Teotihuacan better, but I'd be curious if I played this several times. I played Teotihuacan probably, oh, I don't know, I might have played 30 or 40 times. It's hard to say because on BGA I've played quite a few times. This one, it would be interesting to play this. I kind of wish they'd put this one on BGA. I definitely would rate it. Teotihuacan's my favorite. This one would be my second, for sure. And I like this. I think I like this one better than Tascini, the Builders of Ur. That one would probably be my third. And Tawantinsuyu falls somewhere down the line. I would say it's still a good game, but it's less, doesn't feel quite as well refined per se, and so it's going to be farther down the line. And Trismegistus, I still like it, but that one and Tzolk'in are just not as high on my list, although they are fun. They're games I'd like to bring out every once in a while. So yeah, this is the, technically I've played all, I have a solo of each of these 4 games. So if you go to my look through the other games on Unraveled Game Thoughts, you'll find at least a solo playthrough, I think, of all of them now. Obviously not Tzolk'in, because it didn't have a solo mode unless there's one that somebody's posted on BGG, but the others, Trismegistus, I'm pretty sure I have a solo on there, and now I've got a solo of Tawantinsuyu and Tascini and Tekhenu, and there's an old solo of Teotihuacan. Now, I was going to say this is my last one before I compare, but I do have a friend who is going to let me borrow his Teotihuacan with all the expansions, and so I'm hoping that I can play a solo of Teotihuacan with all the expansions. I suspect that with all that added in, this one will end up being the easiest solo bot here, because Teotihuacan is it's got some overhead on the solo for sure. Once you get it down, it gets a little easier, but this solo I'm pretty sure is easier than that one even. So I think Turczi really did a good job of streamlining this solo to make it easier. Honestly, Teotihuacan was done a long time ago, and he did a good job with it, given how long ago Tawantinsuyu, I think, was just a game that did not lend itself to really having a solo version, and that's why it feels so much more weighty and complicated than some of the others. So yeah, so that will hopefully be, I might do some other games before I get around to that Teotihuacan solo. I'm not sure what else I am wanting to put on the docket, but I'll try to put some things on there, maybe a solo of Arc Nova, or some other games that are a little lighter. But then that's coming up. If you care to take the time to like and subscribe, that would be fantastic. That'll help the channel out. And I also have a Patreon. I'll put that in the description, and a Ko-Fi. Ko-Fi is kind of like Patreon, but it's I think it's maybe a little more akin to like Buy Me Coffee or something, where it's just you're not paying a nominal fee to the Patreon folk. It just goes straight to me. So I do this as a hobby. It is it's just something I love doing. I love reading rules, and so to sit down and play a game and do a video and walk through is an enjoyment. but it does take time, and I have to do it when I have time. So as time goes on, if I gather some Patreons and am able to bring in a little bit of residual income for this, then I will invest more time in this, try to get some better cameras. And right now you probably see a line going down from the camera. I just jerry rig most of what I have with my phone camera and my a little webcam on my computer here. But it's still fun. I enjoy the editing. I enjoy putting it together. But yeah, I have to do it around family and other and work during the week, and just find time to squeeze it in. So thank you for joining me at Unraveled Game Thoughts, and have a great rest of your weekend.